This afternoon, Edison Cavani has apologised for any offence caused by a social media post that followed that game. He shared an Instagram story from a fan using a racially offensive term. That post has since been deleted, and Manchester United themselves issued a statement this afternoon saying it's clear to us there was absolutely no malicious intent behind Edison's message. He deleted it as soon as he was informed that it could be misconstrued. Edison has issued an apology for any unintentional offence caused. Manchester United and all of our players are fully committed to the fight against racism. What's your take on that, Gary?
Well, we're here again, aren't we? Where we had an incident at Liverpool a few years ago where a similar word was used with Luis Suarez. And every time there is an alleged offence of racism, or there is an offence of racism, or someone is offended by a word that's used that's inappropriate, we hear the words education, we hear the words training, and yet still football is incapable of putting a curriculum in place for its players, for its members, for its fans that is compulsory. Why is Edison Cavani not subjected to diversity, inclusion, training, education the minute he comes into this country? Not to remind him of his duties, but to educate him. If we're truly going to root out discrimination in this country, it has to become part of a curriculum at school, it has to become part of a curriculum within sport, it has to be every employer in the country has to enter into a diversity inclusion training programme and implement it and execute it. And still to this day in football, we have banners being held, we have players taking the knee, we hold flags in the air, we wear badges on our chest. Where is the education and training? And this could have been prevented, because we're going to still continue to see incidents like this where Edison Cavani, probably whatever time it was, 5 o'clock yesterday afternoon, when he reposted that Instagram story, didn't have a clue that he was doing anything wrong. Within 24 hours, he's having to apologise for it.
Whose responsibility do you think that is?
The Premier League,
education.
the FA, the EFL, the League Managers Association and the PFA. There's 5 of them. They're all funded. They've all got lots of money. Put a diversity inclusion set of protocols and processes in place that are fixed, that all 5 buy up to. We've got 5 different slogans. We've got Black Lives Matter that's been applied in football. We've got Show Racism the Red Card. We've got No Room for Racism. We've got Kick It Out. We've got Players Together. They can't even come together on a singular campaign on something that they should be one on. So they can't even come together on that. At least collaborate on important issues that are societal. Drive it out of the game, root out the discrimination. It's got to be done by education and training. And that means that players have to be part, and us, and everybody else that takes part in this game, of bi-weekly, monthly training on diversity and inclusion, why people take offence to certain words and why some people don't. If it offends someone, it's a problem. If it offends someone, it's a problem. So, to me, this is going to continue to happen, and we're not going to be able to deal with it and root it out until this education, this curriculum is in place, and then put it into schools so that diversity inclusion is part of the school curriculum as well. Do the players themselves have a responsibility here, though, Jamie?
Yes, of course.
In terms of that education, self-education?
Yes, and I agree with Gary. He's put something on there, and then before you know, the next day he's having to apologise. He doesn't think he's done anything wrong. You mentioned the Luis Suarez situation a few years ago. Obviously, Uruguay, I'm sure that would have been huge news in Uruguay, but he's obviously used a similar type of word. And now he's in a situation where he may actually be banned from playing, when we should be doing the analysis on him, what Gary's just done in terms of goals. But in terms of players and social media, at times we make mistakes ourselves with things you put out at different times. But obviously, he hasn't known he's making a mistake now. But in terms of actually understanding that, I think as players, we obviously have to take responsibility. But I'm totally with Gary in terms of education. I think we all need educating, and, you know, players in our position, or pundits, we're no different.
Sky Sports News are following the story, and it's their understanding the FA will investigate the post, and they will keep you posted.